Welcome everyone. It's so thrilled to see all of you. So thank you very much everyone for joining today's exciting discussion about EalSuite. I can see a lot of people joining in. Hello everyone. Hi. Okay, so uh, I'm sure that everybody joined in with the right interest itself, and all of your interest will be, completely enhancing today's experience. That in behalf of the entire LCUT community, let me just say that. So I do know that your time is really valuable. So thank you very much for dedicating your time for this particular event. And as always, I'll be trying to constantly improve the way in which I'll be explaining the things, and also we, as a whole group, will be, you know, much more involved, and will be striving forward to improve the way you experience our software. So this webinar is, like always, a chance for each and everyone to experience that, go deep into the nitty-gritties of the softwares, each and every feature update, the enhancements, everything. Hello Deepti, thank you very much for joining. So I'll be giving you valuable insights regarding the new releases, and you will be able to discover all the latest features and what are the different use cases associated with it, which will be definitely empowering you to use our software and achieve greater things with LSUIT. All right. So I encourage each and everyone to actively participate and ask questions. And if you're having further doubts or anything to share your thoughts, you have a lot of options available in your screen. You have the Q&A option. You will be able to ask your questions there. The chat option is also open for everyone for your discussion, and you can use the raise hand option, and if it's at the right time, I'll be able to unmute all of you, and you can use your voice itself, and we can have a verbal communication regarding your doubt. All right, so I think we'll be getting started in such a way. All right. So, as always, let me just guide all of you into what's been seen in your screen. I hope that the screen is visible for everyone, and I hope that I'm properly audible and visible as well. If you can just give me a confirmation, that would be great, so we can continue with our agenda. Yes, thank you very much for the confirmation, Atul. So, like always, LSuite Evolution, we are back again with our LSuite Evolution series. So today we'll be discussing a lot of things, especially the record update button, the supply journal expense, and all the optimized reporting section as well. All right. So let's get started. We will be starting with our release note. Yes. So 30th of December 2023 was a great day for everyone because we just released our record update button. With our record update button, you will be able to properly manage your sales orders and invoices. All right. So as of now, we have just introduced the record update button for both of these sections and making data update a breeze without going into the edit mode. Then we will be exploring new grounds with our supplier journal expense, which is the item journal expense, which is an experimental feature as of now. So this is a way in which you will be able to discover, new ways to handle supplier related expenses. Then we have the efficient warehouse tracking, where we have introduced a warehouse lookup custom field, a perfect tool for quick and accurate warehouse searches. Coming into the enhancement part, the proforma invoice list has been improved. So how? The latest proforma invoice pops up first when creating a customer payment. We'll be looking into that, whether it's properly happening or not. Then the check details at a glance. Easily view check details directly in invoice and purchase bill for better financial tracking. Then we have optimized few reports like the trial balance and the profit and loss report. Then we have resolved two bugs with regards to the SMTP settings and the tax column visibility under the items smart view section. All right, so we'll be looking into all of these today. Excuse me for that. All right, I hope that everyone has settled in quite nicely. If there's any issue with my voice, with my video or the screen I have shared, please let me know that. Okay, so let's get started. We'll first of all move into our first update. Streamlined record updating, introducing the record update button. So here we will be able to, we have introduced a record update button for two modules or two bills to be precise. That is a sales order and invoice. So here the advantage is data update made easy, update records without going into the edit mode, efficient workflow, streamline the process of updating sales orders and invoices, and time saving feature as well. So let's take an example. We have plenty of custom fields, right? And there will be times in which we have to what this custom field will be speaking about statuses. All right. So I'll just give you a hint, or I'll just show it to you. Let's go to the settings section. Let me take the first branch. And we have so many options. Under general preferences, you could see right under custom fields, we have the record update button. So like we were speaking about, under two modules, we have introduced a record update button, which is for invoice and the sales order part. Like I was telling, we can create a lot of custom fields, and we can create the custom fields for different modules, for all these modules. And we're talking about the record update button. So let's create it for an invoice right now. And first of all, we need a custom field for it. And the custom field name will be like delivery status. This is just an example. There'll be plenty of use cases with which you will be able to work with. What's the speciality of delivery status? The name itself speaks for itself, right? Um, Status, you will have to change the status every time. So in such situations, the field type that we choose will be drop down, and we can provide different drop downs, maybe in process or in transit, then maybe delivered. I can add oh, on hold. So maybe these three will be the status. Anything else, I think I can also add processing. Oh, I don't think it's necessary. We could say that initially it will be in transit, then if it's delivered or not, or it's hold or anything like that. But the important part here is that uh, when the status changes, we have to manually change it, right? In usual circumstances, we go to the invoice option, we use the edit option, we edit it. So I'm not going to put it in the client's view. Let's submit it. And for delivery statuses, each time you want to change the delivery status, it's like I was telling you, need to go to the edit option. You need to edit it. Now the first question here is, should we give an edit privilege to somebody who shouldn't edit it? I mean, I don't think that's a correct way to present this. But okay, let's pitch it like this. To whom all should we give the edit privilege to an invoice to, of an invoice to? So that's it's a conundrum there itself. This is where the record update button comes into picture. In normal circumstances, uh, let's create an invoice. Let's create Ravindran as the customer. And yeah, books. I'm going to select two items. Let's say this is the invoice, and I need to deliver this somewhere. So initially, when you're creating this invoice, you can look at the custom field created delivery status. It will be in transit or maybe process or anything like that, which is less than the sales price. Minimum sales price. I'm not sure how much is the minimum sales price that I've set. Yeah. So the invoice is saved right now and the delivery status is in transit. And if I want to make a change, what should I do? Or somebody, if you want to edit it, to that person, you should give the edit privilege. And he or she will be going into the edit portion and they will be manually changing this every time. If it's on hold and then if it is delivered, then again you'll have to edit it. So it's a tedious process. It's a redundant process. And this is where the record update button comes in. So okay, we'll go to the record update button, and for invoice, you already have a record update button, which I've already created. We'll be creating a new one right now. I'll just show you a preview here. Now, for every normal invoice, these all will be the options. You don't see something like this. So this new record is something that I've already created. It's there. So if you want to create a new record update button, okay, name. So delivery status itself, or delivery update, or anything like that. I'm going to show you another thing at the very end. Now, the roles. That's the first validation here. To which all roles should we provide it? Should we provide it to this privilege just to a full administrator, or a project member, test user, or an SPA? So if I want to select multiple roles, I'll be able to do that. Next thing, you need to provide a description, because description is important. If you have a bunch of record update button, then sometimes there are chances that you may get confused, right? Otherwise, you will have to go in, view it. That's gonna, be difficult sometimes. So description. So button to update the delivery status. Okay. Now there are two custom fields associated with invoice right now. Because if you check, there are two custom fields. If you want to add both of these custom fields, you can do that. You can select multiple custom fields right now. But I'm going to just add delivery status right now, because that's the way the process goes. That was the example we have taken, and see the roles: full administrator and a project member. And I'm submitting it. Okay, for both of these are full administrator and project member. Next, I can come here. Let me reload this page, and you could see the deliveries update itself. So when these items are delivered, I could just directly come here. I don't want, let's say it's just a salesperson, right? He or she should update it. In normal circumstances, we won't be giving the edit access to a salesperson once the invoice is created. Why? Because there are chances that he could manipulate the data, or knowingly or unknowingly, he could make a mistake. So discrepancies can come in if you provide such kind of privileges. So in this situation, what we do is we provide delivery update right here itself, and by selecting the right status and submitting, and you could see the status got changed. So this is the way in which the record update button works. So the record was updated successfully. Now there's an issue, right? Who should see this? So I'm returning back here. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to remove the full admin. A project member should only see this. And if I return back and I reload this page, I would see that new record update button is present. If I want to remove that also, if I want to remove that also, that's it. So right now, we've just introduced record update button for two modules, that is a sales order and invoice. And you'll only be able to update it for custom fields. You can add multiple custom fields for creating a record update button. With the help of single record update button itself, you'll be able to update the status, or you will be able to change things with regards to multiple custom fields. That's one thing. You can restrict it with the help of users, and in the future we'll be able to restrict it with respect to, we'll be able to, right now you can restrict it with the help of roles. In the future, we'll be implementing it for users as well. All right, then you provide the description, and then you add the custom fields, and you save it, and right on top of an invoice, along with payments, mark as PDF, all these features, you will be able to see it. If you as a user, having a certain role, do have access to this particular field or update button access or privilege. This is the way in which the record update button works. I hope that this is clear to everyone. If you're having any doubts, you can ask me now. I'm gonna give you few seconds to just digest things. Yeah, I have a question from Devika. Is the record update button? Is the record update button restricted to any field types? No. Record update button is not restricted to any field types or anything like that. If you create a custom field, you can create custom fields with any field types. right? With a bunch of field types that we have already provided. You can create it with the help of any field type, and you will be able to update things. It is not restricted with any field type. Just with the two bills right now, and in the future, we'll be expanding it. We'll be spreading it also. All right. So I hope that it's clear. If you're coming across any doubts in between also, please use the raise hand option, and then you can speak it out, or you can directly write in the Q&A box or in the chat box as well. The next update, it's a pretty tricky one. Exploring supplier journal expense, a new way to handle expenses. So this is an experimental feature that's very important. So first of all, in order to experience this particular feature, you will have to reach out to your service partners and ask them to enable this for you. So the partners will be able to do that. And then once you have enabled it, then you will have to manually enable it for your particular branch if you're having multiple branches. Yes, so simplify expense management. So handle supplier related expenses in an efficient manner, and you can improve the accuracy as well by accurately recording all the different types of expenses and gain insights and control over supplier expenses. So supplier journal expenses is basically an item journal expense, and I'll be explaining to you how this works. So in this particular workspace, the item journal expense was enabled, and that is in. So you can see here under the experimental features. Right now we have so many experimental features like the keyboard shortcuts, the HRM feature, the item journal expense, the marketplace, so and so. So item journal expense, I need to select it, and I need to enable it manually for which particular branch I want it to be enabled. So I'm going to select my first branch, the head office branch, and this can. So item journal expense has been introduced. So how can we see it? So first of all, you need to create an item journal expense. So let us create a new item. That's so journal expense item, right? So I'm gonna put the GST, KG, something like that, and a normal item here. So this is a specialty. So you can see the item attributes, you can see the inventory, you can see the item group, and here you can have the item expenses as well. So this is the way in which an item will be created. This is a normal way you're submitting it. Next, you need to go to the three dots option here, and then you have different options like add units, adjustments, inventory out. Then you have the journal expense. So you add the journal expense here. So with regards to a particular, so mellow sound traders, and let me write or cartage, and the amount of expense I'm going to add it is going to be 1,000. So what I did here is, let's take an example. Let's take a service-based company. Imagine a tile. It's not a manufacturing company. You're doing some kind of a work with the help of tiles or marbles or something like that. You're helping them for interior, decoration or something like that. All of those interior works. You as a company, you're not doing it directly. You're doing it with the help of a contractor. So you will be generating a lot of invoices, right? That's one thing. You'll be creating a lot of invoices, and they will be providing you purchase bills. But in some situations, there will be a lot of expenses for which the purchase bill will not be generated. So what happens in such situations? You won't be able to associate that expense from the purchase bill, right? So in such situations, you have to pass a journal. You will have to add a journal expense. But how to do that easily? How to do that conveniently. This is where the item journal expense comes into picture. So we have all of these things, and we have created a journal also. We created an item journal where we have marked the amount, so many things. Yes, ma'am, this is an experimental feature. Right now, you need to reach out to your service partner and then enable it in your workspace, then only it will work, right? So I did add my journal expense here. Let me just show it to you. Related to mellow sound traders, this is a supplier. If I want to, I can add multiple journal expenses also. So if I want to, like for mellow sound traders itself, and some another. So maintenance expense against this particular item, I could say a 250 rupees. If I want to do that, I can do that. So if I want to add multiple item journal expenses, you will be able to do that. Sorry, I didn't explain it the first time around. So you can submit it. So a total of journal expense against the supplier Melo sound traders. It comes under two categories, and the amount will be 1,000 and 250 rupees. So I hope it's clear. We have the journal expense section also. So we haven't added any stock or anything like that. So that's one thing. Let's do one thing. I haven't added any stock here, right? I think the negative part is enabled. So let's create an invoice. Sharma, is any catalog enabled? No. So journal expense. So we're adding three items like this to that particular customer. Okay, there's an issue. We need to change the customer because the value won't be right. Javan, yes. So we have created an invoice against Javan Associates, and the item is item journal, sorry, journal expense item. You need to go to payment, and we can add payment directly here. Then we have the item expense, and then we have the option to associate the journal expense, right? So we have one item, the date against which uh, item we're doing it, and then we have the supplier's name from which we bought this item. The charges are also mentioned, and we can simply save it. So we can come down, and you could see that against these journals, we have created journals for mellow sound traders as sundry debtors, freight charge, right? And then we have creditors, and we have mentioned the freight charge. Then we have creditors again. In such a way, we have created all these journals. So we have created 1, 2, 3, 4 journals based on the number of quantities that we have bought in. Sorry, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yes. So there are three quantities, and against three quantities, we have. So if we have two journal expenses added against a single quantity, then we will be having two journals. So if you have three quantities, then a total of 6 journals will be created. That's the way it works. All right. So let's go to the account section. And you could see all the journals are created here. Journal expense item, related journal, and all the value has been properly added. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 journals has been created now. So this is the way in which the item journal expense works. So let me just explain this. Sometimes you won't get the purchase bill. You won't get the purchase bill related to that particular item. So you need to add the expense. You already add the expense if the value is particularly known. So while creating the invoice itself related to that particular item, you associate the expense. What kind of expense? It's a journal expense that you will be associating. So you associate the journal expense, and it will be directly being created under the journal side in your accounting part also. So that is the advantage of working with item journal expense, which is right now an experimental feature. We will be improving a lot of functionality here, and then we'll be introducing it not as an experimental feature, so that everybody will be able to smoothly and conveniently and efficiently use it in the future. I hope this is clear. Let me just give you a few moments to again grasp it in. And if you're having any doubts, you can ask me. No doubts. Okay, so I think it's time to move on. We have one more feature update to discuss, and which is efficient warehouse tracking with the warehouse lookup custom field. So in the previous update, we introduced an enhancement where we bought in uh, another lookup custom field that was for accounts. Right now, we have bought in it for warehouse. So easily locate items in the warehouse and efficiently track and manage warehouse stocks and adapt the warehouse lookup custom field to your specific needs. So right now, the use case I'm going to choose is while creating a supplier, uh, if I know that to which warehouse I'll be buying the items to, in such situations, how can I work it out? So what I do is I create a custom field against supplier where the name will be warehouse itself, and we'll be looking up, we'll be selecting a field type where it will be a lookup, and then towards warehouse and show in bill view and submitting. And if I'm creating a new supplier like this, the name of supplier is Navneet, and it's a GST registered person. So 30 to 1K random GST number has been entered or anything. And you can see that I can choose the warehouse. And if I'm choosing Madeline warehouse as the warehouse to which all the materials from the supplier should be bought in, I can do it like this. And once you've created it, this is a specialty. Now imagine somebody who's creating a purchase bill. So I come here and I'm creating the purchase bill, right? So during that time, he already know to which warehouse all these things should be going into. So first of all, he should be making that particular change, because he comes here and he checks this and he could see, okay, Madeline warehouse. This should be the warehouse to which the to which all the items should be bought in, right? So if you did make any change or mistakes or if there's any discrepancies, he should be making a warehouse transfer, right? So that can be easily identified with the help of such kind of custom fields. And that is the reason why we have introduced a lookup field where we'll be able to look it up from the list of warehouses. So that was a very simple feature update. It's not a complicated one, not the way in which we discussed the first and the second feature update. All right, moving on to our fourth one. The proforma invoice list just got improved. So let me just show it to you. If we go to our proforma list, I'm going to sort it with our customers. And you could see that Jayarajan has 1, 2, 3, 4 proforma invoices. And the numbers are 01, 05, 016, 16, and 17. Okay, before this particular enhancement, what happens is that if I'm going to make a customer payment, and if it was Jayarajan, 8 HDFC Bank, I'm going to make a 5,000 rupees or a 500 rupees, some kind of an advance amount. Cash, yeah, proforma list. This is a specialty. Initially, the list was not like this. Initially, it was upside down. 01 was coming at the very top. No, we don't, the more convenient part of the better use case is that most of the time, if you're going to make an advance payment, it will be towards the latest proforma invoice. So this comes first. So this is the latest proforma invoice. You select that and you make the advance payment, right? Yes, towards this one. So submit, and the advance payment towards a particular invoice has been made. This is the thing. This is the way in which the list has been improved with regards to proforma invoice. It's another very easy enhancement. The latest proforma invoice appears first while creating a customer payment. That's it. Next one, check details in invoice or invoice view and purchase bill view has been improved. Easily view check details directly in invoice and purchase bill view for better financial tracking, right? So for referencing and tracking has been made easier with regards to purchase bill and also to invoices. So I'll be working with invoice today. That'll be convenient. Let's create an invoice. And against this person, I'm going to create an invoice. The price is going to be huge. I'm going to change the price here also. I'm going to add 15,000 for this one, and I'm going to add a third, something like this. It's going to be a huge amount. I'm going to save. I can make a payment, first payment, petty cash, And I'm going to provide it like this much amount cash, saving it. So the due amount is shown, total paid amount is shown. Next, I'm going to add a payment with with an Axis Bank or something like that, and it's going to be a check. So the customer is going to provide us with a check. I'm going to enter the check number, something like this, and the check will be the check date is going to be like, oh, okay, keep it on Monday. Today is 12th. Reference, no need. I'm going to say. So what happens? You can see all the items, all the details. You come down. Initially, under related transactions, the check status was not shown. It was just shown like this, check status, whether it was cleared or uncleared, it was not shown. The date of the transaction and the transaction ID with the amount and the payment methods was shown, but the check status was not shown. The similar thing has been implemented under the purchase bill also. And as you all know that if you go to our dashboard, since it's just 4 days, you will be able to see the check details, the outstanding check or the post-dated check, check date as we mentioned, Axis Bank, the who's a customer, and the amount against which he has done it against the invoice as well. For more details, you can go to the transaction part, sorry, check part, and you could see this check detail here as well, right? And if you want to mark it as bounce, you can do it. You can, if you mark it as cleared, cannot be reverted, yes, submit, and I go to the invoice, and here if you return back, the check status has been updated as clear. So it's a very convenient enhancement, I would say. It's a very, it's a very, yeah, convenient will be the best term to use here. All right, so I hope that the check update on the invoice and the purchase bill, the check status update on the invoice and the purchase bill is clear to everyone. All right, so we will be making a move. Yes. So moving forward, one final enhancement, that is the optimized trial balance and the profit and loss statements. This is the way regarding the way in which we have optimized our reports. If you go to our report section, we have under the accounts part, we have so many reports, and let's talk about the profit and loss and the trial balance. So for clients who are using, for the people who are using EalSuite for more than 3 years, they were having a lot of data under their profit and loss as well as their trial balance reports, and it was taking so much time for loading. So we have optimized the way in which these reports will be loading moving forward. It was taking nearly 11 seconds for some of our customers, and right now we have optimized it to a way it will only take in between 1 and 2 seconds. So that's a way in which we have improved the way in which both of these records or reports will be loading. So that was the final enhancement. Now we will be looking into two, bugs, I would say, some issues that we have resolved. The first one was the SMTP settings, which is made secure. It's a very simple thing. It was not a huge issue or anything like that. But for some people, it was a huge issue because if you go to settings, and under the email settings, we do have the option to configure our SMTP. If you provide a server address, a username, password, the authentication port number, and the authentication, uh, so the alternative port number and the authentication number, you will be able to configure your own SMTP, and you will be able to directly send uh, emails from your servers to your customers' uh, email box. Right, earlier there was an issue because let me just show it to you like this. If you select this, you could see the input type is text. And for this one, also the input type is text. And for password also, initially the input type was not password, it was simply text. That was when I'm adding details like this, my password was also visible. But right now we have changed it. Default itself, this will be password. So if I'm typing something, it will come as a password. So that issue was fixed. That was all about the SMTP settings made secure. And finally, the tax column visibility is restored. Now, tax column visibility, as you can see here, comes under the smart view of items. Initially, there was no tax column present. Right now, we have introduced that as well. We go to our inventory section and we have item code, unit name, track inventory, the cost price, the average cost price, and finally you can see tax. And if you want to rearrange it, I'm gonna bring the tax column right on top here of unit name. The name comes here, then the tax next. And in such a way, I can customize my view under smart view. And here you can see initially there was no tax column, so that was the issue. So we have fixed that as well. So a lot of things discussed today with 3 feature updates, 3 enhancement, and 2 resolved issues. Sometimes it will be too much for all of you to take in. And if you're having any doubts, you can ask me now. It's a Q&A time. And if you want me to repeat any of the updates or enhancements or any of the issues that we have resolved, please speak with me and I'll be able to, explain it once again further. Okay, I have one question regarding item journal expense. Yes, ma'am, the item journal expense, like I told you, is a experimental feature right now. And like I said, you need to, inform your service partner to enable it for once, and then you will be able to use it. Just test it from your side. Okay, everybody's giving thumbs up for the record update button. I know that it's a very useful button, the record update button. The most positive side of that particular feature update is that you don't have to give the edit privilege to anyone, while using it. You only have to give the privilege to a particular role or to a particular user, and if you revoke that, he or she won't be able to see that, and he or she won't be able to make that change as well, or edit or update or anything like that. Yes, looking forward for more lookup field. Yes, we will be spreading that feature as well in the coming updates for sure. So thank you very much everyone for attending. If you're having for any further doubts or anything like that, please do ask me. So everyone, thank you for attending, and thank you so much for sticking around today at the very right time itself. Your questions and all of your engagement has made this webinar truly wonderful, and I'm looking forward to the next updates and to the subsequent webinars that we will be conducting. Anything else? So everyone, as you all know that we will be pushing our boundaries each and every week to bring in new enhancements and updates, more and more useful things for our customers, for our users, for our partners, to improve the way in which you work with EalSuite. So bi-weekly there will be updates. Please go through our documentation page to see all those updates, and please try to use it if it's necessary within your workspace itself. And please let us know, if there's any bugs or anything like that. Please let your partners know, or you can directly inform at info@ealsuite.com. If you have any further questions, after this webinar, our support team is there. We'll be able to reach out to them and shoot them the message. They'll directly solve it. Or we have our forum also. So use our community forum, use forum.ealsuite.com. Go there, write down your questions. We'll be happily, resolving those issues at the right time itself. We'll be, happy to chat. And don't forget to share your feedbacks and ideas as well. We love hearing it from you, and I think that it's time to wind this webinar up. So thank you very much, everyone. See you next time. Bye.